A very warm welcome to you all. Our guest tonight is Tsuro. He is the youngest appointed as the CEO of Toastmasters Southern Africa. And tonight, during this episode of One on One, we are going to talk about the importance of effective communication and the role of Toastmasters in honing the communication skills as well as the leadership qualities. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us in the studio of the MBC.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here this evening.
Andrew, you've come all the way from South Africa, right?
Yes, I'm coming all the way from South Africa, but I'm actually from Zimbabwe. So I started my journey from Zimbabwe via South Africa to get here. So I'm excited to be part of this experience this week.
And professionally, you're also an entrepreneur.
Yes, I am a chief executive of the E-Hub and Entrepreneurs Hub, where we help professionals who've been in the profession for a long time, but want to transition into becoming business owners. And so that's what I actually do outside of my Toastmasters engagements.
It's also important to note that you're actually only 26 years old. And you are the CEO of the Southern Africa region for Toastmasters. Yes. Mauritius is also part of that district, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Mauritius is one of the 12 countries that I have the opportunity and the privilege of serving and supporting. And from Angola, Madagascar, Mauritius, Namibia, right up to Zimbabwe, we are one family that is dedicated to communicating and improving the leadership landscape in our continent.
So share with us your purpose to Mauritius. Is it your first time actually here?
I'm privileged enough to have this as my second time in Mauritius, but it feels like the first time every time because there is always something new to experience. My reason for being here is to help the communities and the corporate organizations in Mauritius recognize their role they play as key stakeholders in developing especially young people in becoming effective communicators and how that can contribute to them realizing the profits and the return on investment they have if they invested in the communication and leadership skills development in their organizations. And that's why I'm predominantly here. And of course, to connect and meet the Toastmasters on the ground who are doing incredible work in ensuring that more people become better leaders and better communicators.
And how do you find our island here?
Your island, I'm surprised that you actually don't always sit by the beach and drink cocktails. I'm impressed that there's a lot of work that's happening, a lot of development that I'm seeing, and particularly the professionalism and the hospitality. I could stay here. Can you organize for me to stay here?
Of course, and we hope that you'll come back soon as well.
I am
for
certainly
a third
coming
visit.
back. I am definitely coming back. I've been invited again, and it's really, the time feels short. And yet there is so much to do, so much to experience, so many people to meet who are really doing incredible work. I have to give it to the local leadership. Ravin Papia and his team have done incredible work in ensuring that many people find the reason to come out of their shell, find their comfort, find their voice using Toastmasters. And it's incredible to see this all unpacking before our eyes.
Andrew, a Toastmasters club is actually designed to help individuals to become better communicators through leadership training as well as public speaking practice. They are actually a group of people who meet regularly
Yes.
to improve their speech, their communication skills. You've been part of that organization for so many years now. So guide us through the concept of Toastmasters.
The concept of Toastmasters is a very unique concept that is globally enriched for over 98 years now. Toastmasters has helped people fight against the number one fear after death, the fear of public speaking.
Exactly.
And so many people find themselves with so much to contribute in this world, but lack the courage and confidence to do so. A gentleman 98 years ago made it impossible that people had no place to improve their speaking skills. And so Toastmasters came about when they realized that many professionals, many young people wanted to express themselves better, wanted to communicate effectively, but lacked the confidence, the courage, and the skill to do so. And so many people across the world come every day are developing their communication skills by becoming a part of the Toastmasters community. What happens when you get to a Toastmasters club? You get there, they welcome you with a smile, and I can promise you, you will get the most beautiful smiles in Toastmasters. Then there is an opportunity where you learn by doing in a safe and supportive environment. We're not looking for people who are great at public speaking already. We are looking for those that fear public speaking and are looking for a space where they can feel at home, feel comfortable, feel safe to be vulnerable so that they can develop the skill. It is not a skill that you are born with, and if you were not born with it, you can't do anything about it. It's a skill that you can develop, and Toastmasters has its sole purpose to help you develop your communication and leadership skills through peer feedback, peer support, and a community of people who are in the same boat as you and want you to do better. And that's what Toastmasters is ultimately all about.
That's nice. You're actually right. We have different type of speakers. One who is actually petrified to
Yes.
speak in front of an audience. Also have the middle one, like who can manage to talk. And then we
Yes.
have the orator, like who speak with such an ease and capture the attention of everyone.
Right.
So Toastmasters, actually, can anyone from different levels join the club?
Yes, there is an array of opportunities. The one who is fearful of speaking, and I always refer to this like to the people who want to get into a certain particular profession, but when they are invited for an interview, they wish they could die. Toastmasters is there to prepare you for such a scenario. I've got so many friends who are my age who have used Toastmasters to prepare for their job interviews and continue to do so to rise above their careers. Then there are other people who are comfortable speaking on a one-on-one space without cameras, of course, and they are able to interact. But once they've been asked to do a presentation, they are always sick on the day of the presentation. Toastmasters is there to help them become better in their public speaking skills and their presentation skills delivery because of the space they find themselves in. Then there are those that believe they were born with the skill. They have developed the skill one way or the other, and they are orators of note, but maybe want to professionalize it or maybe want to monetize the art of speaking. We call this invoicing your voice. Those people are also welcome in Toastmasters so that we can give them the guidance in terms of how to do it. Not only that, you also have a place in Toastmasters to mentor and showcase to the young ones that are coming on board as to how you can better your public speaking skills, your professional speaking skills. And so Toastmasters invites everybody to come into the circle because you've got so much to contribute and you can use it to change the world. And that's where the leadership aspect comes in, because we lead through speaking. If you don't know what to do with your voice, you will guide people in the wrong direction. But if you are a leader and you are able to influence with your voice, with the power of your words, you will know how to impact and influence a community, a country, and of course the world at large. And that's what Toastmasters does. And that's the door that opens up when you become a Toastmaster.
Andrew, I would like to know how long have you been a Toastmaster and what led you to now being the CEO of that organization in Southern Africa?
I joined Toastmasters on the 19th of January 2015 in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. I hope you come once. And when I joined Toastmasters, I had gone into an event, a Toastmasters meeting, where I saw head of companies in this space wearing their suits and ties. Of course, I was 19 at that age. So what do you think I was wearing? Jeans and t-shirts. I
Casual.
expected to feel out of place, but boy, did I feel welcomed by these men and women who were wearing suits and ties, who were executives in their organizations. And what then happened from there is they welcomed me. I was surprised when I found some of them very nervous to speak, shaking, and I thought, how is it possible that you are a CEO of your own company, a multinational company for that matter, for some of them, and you can't speak in front of an audience? And someone reminded me and says, do you know people in your space that have got so much to contribute but don't have the confidence? If we don't have Toastmasters, where are those ideas going to go? To the grave? Will that benefit the community? No. And so that's when my journey started. Although I must say, I wanted to show off to these people that I've got better speaking skills. But I later learned in my journey that what I thought was public speaking, which what I would do is I would go and Google a speech by a famous leader, Mahatma Gandhi, Barack Obama, and many other leaders like Nelson Mandela. Take everything they said word for word and come and present it as though it's me doing the public speaking. The Toastmasters community, those gray-haired men and women in suits, opened up, gave me feedback, and invited me to tell my own story. How many of us have got stories that we can share that can change a community? They helped me find my voice. Instead of speaking like Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, Barack Obama, they invited me to speak like Andrew and share my story and use my story to inspire other young people or to learn from other people around me. And that's what Toastmasters has done for me for the past 7 years. I would never have dreamt of the career that I have, the places I've been, the boardrooms I've walked in, had it not been for those men and women who welcomed me, made me feel part of the family, even though I was in jeans and t-shirts, made me feel part of the family, even though I was probably half their age. And they mentored me, coached me to become a better speaker and a better leader today. So that's my journey with Toastmasters, and how today, you see, as the CEO, I've had opportunities to lead at different levels. Leading because I needed to learn how to serve people, to serve my community. And that's what Toastmasters has been. And I was privileged enough in May to be elected as the youngest and the 44th district director or CEO for Toastmasters in Southern Africa, 12 countries. And I realized the honor, but the responsibility to give back to the community that gave me so much opportunities that I can today share with other young people so that we can redefine leadership. It is surprising that a 26-year-old is a CEO. The next time you interview another 26-year-old, you will not be surprised that they're CEO. And I look forward to you being one of those people that come into the space and realize that so many people have got great leadership skills, but because they've not seen someone like them, they don't have that opportunity. Toastmasters told me it's okay to lead. It's not about my age, gender, or my abilities. It's about the willingness to serve. And that's what led me to this position this year.
Toastmasters basically allowed you to be your own leader then.
Yes, it helped me acknowledge my leadership style and lead in my way. We always talk about how a rainbow has so many colors. If you take yourself out of that rainbow and the rainbow is just one shade of color, would it still be as beautiful? No. So it needs all the shades. And so that's why we're talking about redefining leadership. Gone are the days where a leader was personified as one color, one race, one gender, one age group. Leadership is diverse. It's like a rainbow. And every shade of the rainbow is important to beautify the rainbow and to invite other people to admire it and see themselves and find hope in it, because we do need hope, and that's what leaders do. So that is what Toastmasters has done. Help me find my leadership voice and be able to use it to invite more people to the leadership table.
But Andrew, have you actually always been a good speaker? Is it something that you've always been identified with?
Of late, I think yes, but I think I've been identified as a good speaker, but my speaking skills were always developed. Every time I raised my hand to pray in class or to recite a poem, I was not necessarily the best, but Toastmasters has honed me to professionalize it, to make myself a professional speaker who can articulate themselves and become more effective. There's a saying that says the single biggest problem with communication is the illusion that it has taken place. You think you've communicated something, and yet that person hears something totally different. And so Toastmasters groomed me. I started speaking contests, public speaking competitions at an early age. I think I was 10 when I started speaking competitions. I never won. I was always number 2, 3, 5. And what a Toastmasters did for me over the last couple of or after the last 7 years, it has helped me to hone that skill, realize that public speaking is not about telling us what else is happening. It's about finding your voice, using your voice to tell your story, to inspire other people to come together and do good in the society. And as a result of that, here we are redefining leadership in our continent, where we desperately need more leaders, particularly young people who have got so much to contribute but just need the push in the right direction. And hence, this week has always been about speaking to the corporates and organizations to say, hey, invite us so that we can help you facilitate the leadership development skills, the effective communication skills that we want to see. After all, if we don't do this, it's like me winking at a beautiful girl like you in the dark. You won't see it.
Yeah.
I need to wink in the light so that then we are able to see it. And that's why we're here.
That's brilliantly put out.
Thank you.
Andrew, Toastmasters is therefore about delivering speeches in front of a group of people. But after that, there's also the element of feedback that comes with it.
Yes.
Constructive feedback, I would
Beautiful.
say. But in that sense, do you believe that Toastmasters help an individual to combat fear? Because most of the time, people have the fear of rejection. That's why they are
Yes.
unable to speak in front of an audience. So do you think that Toastmasters puts you face to face to that fear and tell you to confront it?
I don't think so. I know what Toastmasters has done for me and the many people across the world, over 4 million people who've gone through Toastmasters and have become excellent leaders in their organizations, in their countries, as politicians or any other sphere of leadership. Toastmasters uses effective feedback. And the one thing that you'll find unique, and if you find it anywhere else, come back and ask me. It's constructive, motivational feedback. Every human being who's got a fear of something just needs somebody to hold their hand and say, let's do it. And as we do it, we encourage other people to do so. There's no place like Toastmasters where you get constructive feedback. We evaluate to motivate. Toastmasters, after you spoke, they will applaud you. Why? Because it took courage for you to be able to take that stage. Secondly, they will take time to recognize what you do well. Everybody has good speaking skills. So if we recognize them, you repeat them. And so when you repeat them, you become strong in those skills. They always find something that you can work on, that they can suggest to consider, so that you also learn what you may not know. Remember, you don't know what you don't know. And so somebody comes and says, have you thought about using a story to start your speech or your presentation? Have you thought about using a video, a visual aid, PowerPoint slides? And by that thought, and it's always phrased in a question as to consider, I suggest, think about. That way, that person has something to think about and has an opportunity to go and look at it on their own prerogative without being told, you should do this, you must do that. You will never find that in Toastmasters. And that's why it's a safe, supportive, and positive environment. We don't judge you in Toastmasters. We share feedback with you because we all care about your growth. Why? Because when you grow, you also give me feedback that will grow me. You've got the wisdom. Come and share with us. And so I know Toastmasters helps people combat their fear. And I know many of my own personal friends who came to Toastmasters with a stutter, a speech impediment, and have gone to become professional speakers, paid trainers, facilitators, and coaches. Some have even become world champions of public speaking because they found a safe space where they can develop their skills. And that's what Toastmasters has done for them.
But why do you think people panic at the idea of speaking to an audience?
You mentioned it. One of them is the fear of judgment. We live in a society that is so full of so much strict protocols in terms of what you must do, how you must do it. So, where does fear come from? Fear comes from not knowing what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. And guess what happens when you join Toastmasters? Your first element, first projects are called under mastering fundamentals. What to say, how to say it, and when to say it. We teach the fundamentals of speaking in front of an audience. And so when you are able to know what to say, think about it. When you know what to say, you don't think twice about
Yeah,
it,
that's true.
right?
That's
And
true.
so Toastmaster says, you already know what to say. You are in control. The audience is there to hear and learn from you. Remember that. Those eyes that people are watching you with, they want to hear from you. You've got the platform. So Toastmasters reminds you that. Toastmasters also helps you structure your message. You know, when you're speaking and you're fearful, you've got butterflies flying all over the place. But when you've got structure, an opening, a body, and a conclusion, those butterflies fly information. They're no longer flying all over the place. They fly information because you have learned the power of a powerful opening, which is what you call an introduction, a captivating body, which is the body of the presentation or speech, and a powerful, impactful closing, which is what people take home after listening to you. Toastmasters takes you through that process with mentorship, coaching, and a supportive community that are there to help you find your voice and tell your story.
Yeah. And we have actually 21 Toastmasters Club in Mauritius.
Yes, 21 and growing. We've
Yeah.
already grown some this week that are in the processing, so I'm excited about that.
And are they all actually English speaking, English based?
No, not at all. We actually have quite a number of them that are bilingual. Some are Creole and English, some are French and English, some are Creole, French, and many others. And I just heard, I don't know if I can publicize it, but I just heard that there's a Tamil English club that is starting off. And we've got so many others. I myself am a member of a bilingual and English and French. It's called the L'Avenir Toastmasters Club, where we say L'Avenir commence ici. The future begins now, here, today. And so I'm learning my French, so I can easily say bonjour, je t'aime.
That's nice. So language is actually not a barrier then to conquer your fear of public speaking.
No, not at all. In fact, we say the more you are able to speak to a person in a language they speak, you speak to their heart. And that's what we want to do. Nelson Mandela said, speak to a man in a language they understand, it goes to their head. But if you speak to a man in their language, it goes to their heart. And what is it that we want to do? Communication is not just about language. It's about being able to communicate and connect with another human being. I'm here. And if I'm able to connect better in Creole, I should be able to say bonjour, je t'aime, like I did. I should be able to speak in French in order to connect with the French natives. I should be able to go to a Spanish country and speak in Spanish and be able to relate. I should be able to use Mandarin and speak in Mandarin so that I can connect. And that is what it's all about. It's not about you bringing your ideas in English. English is just but one
Medium,
language.
yeah.
And there's so many other mediums of communication, including sign language. And we've just launched another Toastmasters Club at the Global Rainbow Foundation, where it's for the disabled. And it's such a beautiful opportunity to see these differently abled people being able to express themselves, even when people don't consider them to be like us, where we're fully able. They are differently able and they still communicate. And I know that we are just getting started in opening up those doors.
Andrew, I'm sure our audience would want to know how public speaking, how Toastmasters have actually changed your life professionally and personally as well. Because by being a proficient speaker, a person is actually able to project a desired image
Great.
and has an impact on the
Yes.
way people perceive that person. So share with us your story.
So I started Toastmasters at 19, as I shared earlier. And when I started, I had just come out of high school. So what next? I needed to go to tertiary to study. As I was studying, I realized I needed to also learn how to present my ideas. I was studying marketing. So in marketing, you've got to be fluent in your ideas so that somebody can buy. And that's how I got involved. And guess what? As I was engaging in my activities, I got invited to a workshop. At that workshop, somebody said, I need you to come for an interview. My interview lasted 15 minutes and I got the job in less than an hour afterwards. Why? Because Toastmasters helped me find my voice in order to be able to express what I can contribute to an organization. Many of us have got so much to contribute, but we don't know how to articulate it clearly to a potential employer. Not only that, I realized as I was part of that journey that I needed to be more intentional in my journey. And that involved me being able to look at what impact do I want to make. I loved entrepreneurship from a young age. I remember selling my sweets and using my pocket money to be in business at a young age. And I wanted to do the same. And so I invited Toastmasters to help me start an entrepreneur's hub. In starting up an entrepreneur's hub, of course, you've got to sell the vision to your team. Toastmasters honed my skill and helped me be able to articulate the vision I had for the African continent, where we are able to say unemployment rates are rising. What can we do as young people? We can save the plight of the African child by inviting them to realize the skill that you have after graduating can be a business idea that can employ people. And when we employ people and more people are employed through entrepreneurship, which is our solution, many of our social ills like gender-based violence, abuse, crime, theft, and many of those, they are alleviated. And that is where Toastmasters came to teach me to craft that message succinctly and clearly so that my potential investors can invest in the idea and the vision we had so that they buy into it. How many company executives do you know that have got great ideas
Yeah.
but are unable to articulate it to their teams? And so what ends up happening, they end up doing things themselves without a team, a delegation that they can impact. Remember, it's about getting more people coming on board and applying it. And that's what Toastmasters has done. Today, I'm a trainer by profession. I wouldn't have done this without Toastmasters. I do this not because there's money out of it. There is a lot that comes in. I'm really grateful. But through my training, I'm able to impact and also unpack many experiences. Through my travels, as I do my training and public speaking and, of course, my professional speaking engagements, I'm able to learn different cultures through diversity of our world and use that to build our world and make it a global village that you and I can interact and learn from. So Toastmasters has made my small world a big world that I have an opportunity to contribute to. Most importantly, invite more young people, especially with the movement that I drive right now of redefining leadership in Africa. Gone are the days where leadership was one shade of color, one shade of gender, one shade of demographic. Now we are redefining leadership in the continent, in the world, by inviting more people and upskilling them through Toastmasters, of course, and many other initiatives. And Toastmasters gave me the courage to stand, represent, and of course, make sure that more people participate in alleviating our world from this leadership drought. And that's what Toastmasters has done for me and continues to invest in me over and above the speaking skills, the leadership skills, the family, the mentors, the coaches, the investors, the business partners. The list goes on. Toastmasters to me is a buffet of skills development.
We are actually drawing towards the end of this episode, but before that, Andrew, any final words to encourage our youngsters to tell them to pursue their dreams and master the art of public speaking?
Thank you very much for that opportunity to speak to the young people. There is no passion to be found in playing small. settling for a life less than the one that you are capable of living. And with that in mind, you are meant to play in the big leagues. There is a seat for you at the leadership table. Toastmasters is your place to develop and make yourself deserving to be at the leadership table. I want to ask every young person who considers themselves young, whether young at heart or young physically by age or young by beauty, to always find themselves where they are developing themselves through personal development, whether it's leadership skills, communication skills. But ultimately, my bigger call is those that have the opportunity to unlock doors for the young people, particularly you HR professionals, corporate executives. Please set up a communication and leadership development program sponsored by Toastmasters in your organization. Every company must have a Toastmasters club, a Toastmasters program that can help them unpack and ultimately build our future leaders. And the future is tomorrow. So when do we need to build them? Today. So let's set up Toastmasters and then open it up. Find a Toastmasters club near you and let's redefine leadership in our world. We need you young people. We need you mature, experienced people to mentor our young people. And that would be my best ask. There's no passion to be found in playing small.
Thank you so much, Andrew. It was such a delight to have you on the set tonight and learn more about your journey, but also about the art of public speaking and the role of Toastmasters in honing those communication and leadership qualities.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure, and I look forward to coming back again and sharing with you what this has been impactful. And thank you for spotlighting the role Toastmasters plays in developing leaders in our community and our organizations. Thank you so much.
Dear viewers, we have now come to the end of this episode. Thank you for your time. We hope to catch you next week at the same time, same channel. Have a great evening.